All right. Oh, are we recording?
We're recording.
All right. It doesn't look like it is, but I guess it is. Great. Well, welcome everyone to Pioneering to Empower and the Kelly and Kelly Crypto Show, where you join in the conversation as we talk about what is really up and out there in the disruption of the alternative crypto industry. Millions of people invest thousands of dollars for that little edge to give themselves an advantage in life. Your knowledge about the people's new financial system is priceless, and your small investment in yourself is a far smaller risk than being left behind. The cost of ignorance exceeds that of education. This radio show is gifted by nexusuniversity.com. My name is Kellyanne out of Northern New Mexico, and we have Kelly B from Northern California. Kelly. You can't help but laugh, right?
Well, you said I was in Northern California. I really wished I was.
Did I really? Okay, she's in Northern. Carol, where are you? Where are you?
Well, maybe I am. I'm just on Turtle Island. That's all I know is I'm on Turtle Island.
Okay. I'm going to start saying you're on Turtle Island. Okay.
That's
all right,
good.
Great. I'm going to first start off with just some information, okay, because I'm going to let y'all see that I'm going to refresh this page just to get the correct data. Today's date is April 7th on Thursday, 2016. And we are going to walk through what the BTC, Bitcoin, and if some of you new on this call may not know what Bitcoin is, and that's okay. The Bitcoin is at the value today on bravenewcoin.com, which is where I always go for data, is at $422.80 USD native, and the GCR Global Currency Reserve coin is at 0.0066367 USD native. Our GCR coin went out onto the exchange and into the marketplace on August 23rd, 2015. We also have a Nexus coin, NXC, and that is now live, but yet not on a public exchange. Very exciting. Most of us have downloaded our wallets that are on this show today. You can and you have access to download that wallet, the Nexus wallet. Now we're going to go ahead and start off with a video that Kelly wanted to show today. And so here we go. Just a little inspiration.
Ready to wake up, you're going to wake up. And if you're not ready, you're going to stay pretending that you're just a little, poor little me. And since you're all here and engaged in this sort of inquiry and listening to this sort of lecture, I assume that you're all on the process of waking up. Or else you're teasing yourselves with some kind of flirtation with waking up, which you're not serious about. But I assume maybe you are not serious but sincere. And you are ready to wake up. So then, when you're in the way of waking up and finding out who you really are, what you do is what the whole universe is doing at the place you call here and now. You are something the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is something that the whole ocean is doing. The real you is not a puppet which life pushes around. The real deep down you is the whole universe. So then, when you die, you're not going to have to put up with everlasting non-existence, because that's not an experience. A lot of people are afraid that when they die, they're going to be locked up in a dark room forever. And they sort of undergo that. But one of the most interesting things in the world. This is a yoga. This is a way of realization. Try and imagine what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Think about that. Children. It's one of the great wonders of life. What will it be like to go to sleep and never wake up? And if you think long enough about that, something will happen. You will find out, among other things, that it will pose the next question to you. What was it like to wake up after having never gone to sleep? That was when you were born. You see, you can't have an experience of nothing. Nature abhors a vacuum. So after you're dead, the only thing that can happen is the same experience, or the same sort of experience as when you were born. In other words, we all know very well that after people die, other people are born. And they're all you. Only you can only experience it one at a time. Everybody is I. You all know you are you. And wheresoever beings exist throughout all galaxies, it doesn't make any difference. You are all of them. And when they come into being, that's you coming into being. You know that very well. Only you don't have to remember the past in the same way you don't have to think about how you work with fire right now, or whatever else it is. You don't have to know how to shine the sun. You just do it. Like you breathe. Doesn't it really astonish you that you are this fantastically complex thing? And that you're doing all of this and you never had any education in how to do it?
Nice ending with education. Your organs, nothing in your body ever educated you how to keep those things working. Your heart's working, your liver's working, everything's working, but you're not telling it what to do. No one showed you the way. It just does it. Okay, Kel, I don't know if I played the right video, but there you go.
It wasn't exactly the one I wanted to show, but that's okay. It's always a good message. Alan always has a great message. If you're not familiar with him, Alan Watts, you can find him on YouTube. Just great little short messages. I know the young kids, the young adults are really enjoying his messages, which I believe is so incredible. He's just straight to the point. And, you know, some of us older people may not be, we've been too indoctrinated in the systems to really realize that we are the all, the oneness, the universe, and everything, because that goes against so many different teachings we've been indoctrinated into. But the more that you get into this awakening side, the more you'll get real eyes and see for the truth, for sure. All right, thanks so much, Kelly. Have you got anything else to throw in there this morning? Do we have a song or anything?
No, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and change it over to you being the presenter. And yes, we are all working together here on this planet. So, you know, you got to kind of open up your, you got a ball and you're supposed to break down that ball, and all the beliefs that you believe right now, let's break those down. Let's just do that right now before we get started.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Well, you know, we're going to go a little bit of everywhere today. I just kind of go through what I come across is how I really create, you know, what I'm going to do here in the mornings. I think Kelly kind of does that too. In the afternoons is kind of what she throws together. But Monday afternoon, Kelly's show was fantastic of just showing different ways of how we can position ourselves into the industry. And, you know, we're still focusing on the key attribute that we get from this industry, which is decentralization. It's happening all over the planet in so many ways and has been happening. This is an evolution. You know, this is a revolving into. So anyway, there was a great article that came over, I believe, Tuesday, just showing 5 ways that you could actually go in and position yourself into this space. So the first place I went to was this Open Bazaar. And Open Bazaar basically allows you to create a profile and put your business out there. So, you know, I have a business here at Nexus University, and so that's one thing that I did. I went on and let me see where there's my business there. So it was very easy to do. It was fun. And so Nexus University out there, my link is out there now on this particular place where people can go and buy things they need. Who doesn't need education in the cryptocurrency space? Anybody, right? Really? So go out there, and I encourage everyone to go out there and open Bazaar and put your URL out there. You know, the more Nexus universities we have out there, the better, in my opinion. So very fun, very easy to do. And from this, I was prompted into a couple other places as well, and one of them was onename.com, and basically that one name there, which I chose Value Currency, which is my URL for Nexus University, is my blockchain handle. That's my blockchain handle. So and when you do that, let me see if I can scroll down here. When you do that, you can verify and give yourself trust levels. So I was able to actually, you can put a Bitcoin link there for anybody that wants to contribute, and you can go down and then verify yourself through Twitter or Facebook, and this is GitHub, I believe, and it gives me a better trust level. So that was very cool to do too. They were very easy profiles to set up. Didn't ask for a whole heck of a lot of information. It really didn't. So I was really pleased about all that. So any comments from anybody that's also done anything to set up any accounts out there? Or Kellyanne, you got anything to add before we move on here?
No, this is great. I'm actually in the middle of answering a question for Joseph Penn. And so I've been working on that to get him a link, and then he can be taken care of. So this is awesome information. Just keep on going.
All right.
And yeah, Robert Cato, he says he's in Northern California. That was what it was.
Oh, I was going to say, yes, I'm where at Crab Shack overlooking the Golden Gate right now. Oh, that's
Lovely.
funny. Okay, anyway, so moving on to some just industry news. I thought this was and I'm bringing this article out because this is where we as pioneers in the industry need to look at things and say, is that really the space that I want to hold in the crypto decentralized industry? And this is one of these that I say, no, this is not something that I really want to be part of. I don't want to be a part of where you borrow money, borrow currency, and pay it back at an interest. That's usury. That's an old system. As much as we can, I believe that we as pioneers in this industry need to enlighten even some of those that are coming over into the space that don't see the whole picture the way that we do. And you may not see the picture the way that I do. You may think this is great, and that's fine, but coming from a banking background and knowing that that's total total enslavement and total usury, it should not be that way. We are the creators. Our signature creates the credit. Our signature creates the value, and we're doing that over here in the space. So why would we ever borrow and pay interest on our value? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm moving above that. So I'm just throwing that out there. You may not feel the same way. That's okay. But I just want to get your wheels turning, because there's going to be stuff in this space that really doesn't make sense to move forward in decentralization. Now, peer-to-peer between ourselves, that's one thing I believe, that's okay, but I don't know, this kind of stuff doesn't resonate. This kind of stuff just brings in the old system to me, and we're in a solution. So if anybody's got a comment, you're welcome to raise your hand, and if not, we'll move on from there, because then I'm going to get into the heavy stuff now. Okay, so this morning, a couple of days ago actually, let me pull my screen up. You know, I have a little bit slow bandwidth here. But Dan with Press for Truth interviewed Jeff Berwick with the Dollar Vigilante. I believe it was Tuesday night. And this is an excellent piece, guys. It's 40 minutes. It's extremely important that all of us watch this. I've never felt Jeff's energy be so heavy. And after I watched this, my energy, I got his energy, because in this he basically points out that the only solution we have is, he said, Bitcoin. You know, you and I all know it's cryptocurrency in the industry as well, but he basically said for a good 5 minutes, a part of this 40-minute interview, if we don't get out, if we don't wake up, if we don't see what's going on here, this is nothing but financial warfare here happening. These Panama Papers are doing nothing but taking out, really targeting 3 men who don't want to partake in the Rockefeller, Rothschild banking cartel, corrupt debt system of slavery. And, you know, if they are positioning their assets offshore, kudos off to them if they don't want to participate in the tax crime that it is, which is extortion, is what it is. Taxes are extortion, and participating in them. And I know that this is going to step on some people's feet, but the most important part that everyone needs to realize: study some of this if you don't really get it. Not asking anybody to go out there and stop paying, but know what you're paying into. And if we don't stop paying into it, in 2 years from now, we're looking at a very, very bad place to be living on this planet. And that's basically the heaviness that Jeff had on his heart when he was talking here. And I just felt that energy, and I walked away from that, and I'm just like, what am I going to do? I talked to so many people. I talked to my family. I talked to my friends. They don't want to listen to what I have to say about all this. They're busy preparing their tax returns right now. They're busy building up their 401s. They're busy saving in their savings account and their bank accounts. They're, you know, building up their careers, and they don't want to listen to what I have to say. And so I was just very heavy, because what can I do? Well, I guess the only thing I can do is keep sharing and keep positioning myself the best I can. And that's kind of why I wanted to show you Alan Watts, because I then came across another YouTube, and then I realized I've got back into the universal self that I am, and I realized, I said, hey, Kelly, hold on a minute. Don't worry about that stuff, because there is a more powerful force behind what's going on now than what the elite banker establishment is doing. And Capace here, I watched his little take about our soul today. It was spot on. The best thing that you can put behind what Jeff and Dan talked about. He talked about getting out of the establishment. He talked about how important it is for us to teach the next generation and the next generation, our children and our grandchildren, what it really is to be the universe that you are. And that helped me get centered back this morning into the power that I am, the power that we all are, and the power and the position that we're holding right here at Nexus University, which I believe we haven't even touched the surface. So I know we haven't even touched the surface of where we go, and I intend that we're going to be changing so many lives just by helping them put their open the door just to go into the room. We're just opening the door for them to go into the room. So I highly recommend. You might be having those heavy energies that I had, but this may bring you back to center. And it's good that we see it, because we still have to live in the reality of what really is the illusionary reality that's going on around us. It's an illusionary reality. So it's really good that we have people that can center us back. And Alan Watts is one, and Capace here is another one. Both, well, no, Capace comes out with something every Wednesday, I believe it is. So just good 15-minute self just a good self-centered piece to watch each week. So Kelly, what do you want to add there?
Well, I love all this, the Panama Papers. That's a lot of data. From what I understand, it's the most data. I mean, we don't really all know the truth. No one really does on this one just yet, or maybe never, because the data, which was in many terabytes, which is a very large amount of data in the last year, was provided not to, you know, Press for Truth or any of the alternative media. It was provided to the journalists for CNN and BBC, blah, 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 blah. So you have hundreds of journalists, but they're the mainstream media. The data was provided to them. So in my head, I see some kind of propaganda in that it's centralized. Why was this data not provided to all of us? It was only provided to these 200, 300, I think 200 journalists. Where are they coming from? Where do they live? What do they do in this media thing that we call television and on that network? So to me, it's hard for me to, I just don't know, because to me that's centralized. So that's just another example. I didn't see the video that you saw though. I've seen different. Yep. I've been reading.
Well, that's what they were pointing out
here. But, you know, half truth is half truth. You know, there's also a half truth, just like cannabis. When you see marijuana, blah, 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 this stuff on the television, they're not even giving you the full truth. They're only giving you a taste of it. And then there's they want to confuse the heck out of all of us. Confusion is the devil.
Well,
anyone says they're confused.
Well, Kelly,
yep.
Kelly, what they're trying to point out to you here, what these guys are trying to point out to you, yes, this came out to the mainstream media 8 months after Bilderberger meeting last year, which Jeff and Dan and Luke were all at last year. And they're trying to show you that what is happening is financial warfare. These bankers are trying to, these centralized bankers are targeting the ones that will not partake in their game. So that's, and how coincidental, I think not, that there was a fire at the IRS headquarters Monday night, and the place is going to be closed down all week, and then these papers, you know, come out 2 days later. So, right, or 2 days after the Panama paper. So it's not a coincidence that this stuff is happening, and the alternative media can get, they know they're bringing it out to us that know that the establishment is not out for our best interest. So they're showing you the flip side of what you're going to see on CNN, because this is where the awakening happens for everybody. You have to learn. We can't just keep staring at that tube, that programming tube, and believing everything those talking heads say. You know, look at both sides and weigh what resonates with you. But I believe for the most part, all of us on our end have got it now. We get the picture, but it's not a coincidence that this kind of stuff happens. How much stuff's happened in New York lately? What? Who was it? JP Morgan Chase, was there a flood in their basement, what, 2 years ago in New York on Water Street?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all, it looks like they're getting rid of evidence.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's right.
Why would they be doing that? So we have to step back and question, right?
You question anything on the front page of the newspaper, you know, it's pretty obvious. I don't get the newspaper, so, but it's like, I know this for sure, this Panama paper thing had to showed up on the front page, but that's just.
I don't know either, but I do know that this was really good, this interview that they had together. So I do highly suggest that everybody look at that. So, okay, do we have any hands raised? Have any comments anybody wants to make?
No, we do not, but I will check out this video, Kel.
Yeah,
today.
and the thing is, guys, how does this fit into Nexus University? Well, Nexus University, like I said earlier, and we've said all along, it opens the door for you to step in the room. There's so much. It's just looking down the rabbit hole. So there's going to be so many other places. Once people start looking, they put one foot down that rabbit hole. We have to be knowledgeable in other areas because this spider web is big. You know, maybe Nexus University is the center of the spider web. We're the black widows sitting there because they're beautiful, and we've got the hourglass on our back. If anybody knows about what incredible the hourglass symbol really is, but we got the hourglass on our back, and then people will take and go different directions. You know, and a lot of us are more financially geared because we're at this table right here, and we're thinking about how we're going to move along and how we're going to move our families along and our friends and family. So, you know, you may walk away from this interview the same way I did, worried about what is it, how can I help people wake up? But just center yourself again, I guess, is the best way for me to see it. But this is very important that we know things like this because it is financial warfare, and it's the one thing that we're doing to take ourselves out is by being proactive and positioning into cryptocurrency. And kudos off to all of you that are doing just that, not just educating, but actually applying yourself. So I'm just glad that, you know, we've got so many of you guys participating and really want to take a hold and change the world, because that's really what we're doing with changing the whole planet here, and we're at the forefront of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so no comments from the peanut gallery today, I don't guess.
No, not, they're a little quiet this morning.
All right, well, that sounds good. Well, guys, remember we have a show this afternoon at 5 p.m. and I know it will be exciting. So plan to be there with us this afternoon. And until then, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you then. And thanks, Kelly, for everything, and thanks everybody for being here. Love to you all.
Thanks, Kel. Bye.